Welcome back to another episode of the Not So Serious podcast. So it's just 4 idiots again. We're gonna get to know the boys a bit better this episode. So go on, Ras. I asked them to come up with 2 truths and a lie about themselves before. So Ras, what was yours, mate?
First, a quarter Jamaican. Second, I've done a bungee jump. And third, I have 2 dogs.
What is that funny?
Well, I know this.
No, I just don't know.
I know this.
The lies and the dogs. The
Yeah,
dogs,
lies and
yeah,
dogs.
the lies and dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it before. I thought you'd done the bungee jump before.
Yeah.
And really nice.
Do nice.
Do nice. I have an Australian passport. I have once pissed out a ligament, and for 8 months I was 0.5% metal. Yeah.
Cocktail out there, mate.
Oh, God. He's not an Aussie. He's not an Aussie.
Yeah.
It's Kiwi.
Yeah.
You've got
You're a
Kiwi
Kiwi.
passport.
Got the New Zealand passport.
That's a sin.
Mine. I'm an Irish citizen.
But-
I've never taken pre-workout for any gym session ever.
That is just so gimpy. Please stop.
Well, it's a gym It's a gym thing, mate. So I thought
Hey,
I'd
mate,
make
it's
it- I
not
thought
true.
I'd make it a bit relevant. Right, I'm not going to do
You've
it.
never lifted anything. You've never lifted anything
Yeah.
heavy enough to like
Yeah,
warrant pre-workout.
exactly.
So
Why
that's
you
your
just
last.
fucking
Wow. Yeah. Well then.
No,
He's just absolutely rattled you out.
no, because the wording was different.
Sorry,
Yeah.
mate.
Can
So it would have been a
Can
truth.
we have your next one, please?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I forgot it now.
I just wrote it down.
Yeah. Well then, run another episode. Well,
Never mind, mate.
I'll do mine.
Cheers, Cox.
I don't know what it was.
I've never had an STI. I would have played Prem if I hadn't torn my hamstring. And what's my last one?
That's 2 fat lies. It's 2 truths.
What is
and
my
two
last
lies
one?
and the truth.
What is my last one? I didn't really go.
It's hard, this. Oh, great. Yeah.
Well, actually, I didn't really go. Oh yeah, I passed every single GCSE exam I took.
I'm trying to find the truth.
Right, there you go,
Right,
guys. There you
so
go. I actually picked up 2 good ones.
Can I diagnose these?
Yeah, mate, ask away,
what-
ask away.
Right, so what was the first one again?
never
So
had
it's
an STI.
bullshit, it's got thrown at me, I've just lost
I've
track.
never had an STI.
You
So-
got
so-
you got to have sex to have an STI.
Brilliant.
And also, you have to have all the relevant tests to diagnose if you all have actually have like all STIs, because
Have you had a blood test?
he's only
Yeah.
had a blood test,
Right.
but he hasn't had one recently.
When was the last time?
Oh, like 2 years ago.
Yeah, mate.
Exactly.
You need to get
So could be a lie.
Brilliant.
The hamstring, what was it? Prem thing.
Yeah, mate.
That's pretty.
I mean, it's all subjective.
Cup.
That's
Cup is also.
It's also the
It's
Prem
also-
Cup.
also
we
who-
never know.
who
we,
are
we'll
we-
never know though. That's
What
the thing,
clubs
we'll
are we
never know.
saying as well? Would you reckon you could possibly sign for?
Oh, I'd love to apply for any club in the Prem that
You reckon you could get to any club in the Prem? You reckon
not any
Exeter?
club.
Is Cambridge 2's in the Prem?
What about Sarries? Can we class it? Sign for Sarries now and then go up? Does that count?
Don't let these.
Yeah, and then what was the last one?
I passed all my GCSE exams.
I hate to say it, I think you might have.
I think you actually did.
I was going to say you
I did. I actually did.
So the lie is the Prem one?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, that threw me off a little bit. I didn't know
Yeah,
it
it's
was
a
the
bit-
direction you were heading
It's a
there.
bit of diagnosing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair.
Nice. What's next, Joe?
Just I don't know. Talk about where do you go? Where are you from? You're from Woking, right?
I am from Woking, which is a little town in Berkshire. Yeah, from down south, southern kid.
You bought.
Yeah, I haven't moved. I've
You
lived in the
bought-
same house for how old am I? 22 years. So I've never moved ever. I think my sister moved once, and that was it. So, but I'm pretty glad I live where I live. I like it.
Yeah, how many schools did you go to? You went to like a few. Did you?
I went to how many schools did I go to? 1, 2.
Obviously, I know you went to military school.
Yeah, I went to.
Come on.
I went to 3 schools. No, 4 schools. I went to a junior school, then I went to a prep school, which is like, for anyone who doesn't know, it's like private primary school, isn't it? Really, until like year 8. I'm asking you because you probably went as well. And I went to like a military school called Pangbourne College, which is actually really good fun. But it's like you have to wear a naval uniform all day, every day for a whole year, and it gets a bit boring. And then I went to Henley College, where I played rugby as well as my A levels, which was pretty good. And what about you, mate? Lincolnshire,
Mate, born and raised South Lincolnshire. Yeah, just outside a tiny little village called Crowland, which is nice, quite peaceful. And then I went to primary school until 11, then did 2 years of prep school, so year 7 and year 8, and then that was weekly boarding, so got sent to boarding school effectively. Yeah.
All of you lot went to boarding school.
Yeah.
Never
Oh,
did that
I'm
for
not
myself.
Oh, my parents hated me, which you can understand. So got sent away at 11, and then at 13 moved to Oakham.
There you go.
Yeah, let it go in that bit. Full boarding, so
Yeah.
home once every 3 weeks. You the same?
Yeah, weekly boarder. Went home on the weekends. Boarding was a joke, so.
Yeah.
Old Swingford, hospital, school, Stourbridge. Not a very pleasant area, but.
I'm sure we played that. I think you might be the only private school we played. Obviously I never went to NSB for those of you who don't know. We got the boys' school, but we used to play a few private schools, with never any of the big names. Like we only played Bedford private in our last year.
That's surprising because they're not far from you.
But they're not at all. Like we never played Wellingborough, who like the closest private school to us. We never played them. We used to play people like RGS High Wycombe. What's the Sir Thomas? God, it's been years.
St Thomas Ritchie's.
Sir Thomas Ritchie's.
Yeah. We played that.
They're like grammar schools then, mainly.
Main grammar school.
Yeah.
And then who's Dulwich? We played Dulwich in the last. We played Dulwich in our last year.
Is that Daily Mail?
No, just as a friendly.
Dulwich got
last
to one
year.
though. Daily Mail.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they beat NSB in the final.
Yeah.
And the year we went in the cup all the way to the final. And then we never really played. We only played Stowe. The only time we played Stowe was in the cup. I hated that match. We fucking lost that.
Hell of a school, mate.
Oh, it's literally they've got their own golf course, haven't they?
Mate, I reckon that is probably the most picturesque school in the country.
Yeah.
You'd find
In
anyone
the middle
else to
of
argue against
Yeah,
that.
in the middle of a national park.
Yeah. It's like, isn't it like inside? It's like
It's like-
statues.
It's like a palace.
Yeah.
Walk up to it.
Greek. Hell of a palace. Yeah.
Hell of a cricket pitch.
Is that
Hell
one?
of a, yeah.
They did decent food afterwards, to be fair.
Real good cricket food, and like the pitch right in front of like the main building,
Yeah.
like right in front. For anyone that hasn't been, it's just like a massive sort of stately home, and then the cricket pitch is right in front of it. It's an unbelievable setting.
Bedford did some decent grub after games as well. Away games. Whenever we played that year, we played there. They did some decent food. Burke Hampstead did some decent food.
I played Burke
We played them. We never got to play any of the colleges. Never like you were in the Ace League, didn't you? Yeah, we never played.
Yeah. No, we never really played private schools, did we? Right?
Nah.
No one ever wanted to play us. I think we only played.
Did you go to them?
After. So yeah, didn't do too well in my first year. Didn't do too well in my first year of AS levels. Just redid the whole thing again. Moved back home to Worcester. Went to play at Worcester, and over Ace League for a few years, which, from my personal perspective, anyways, was a lot tougher.
To be fair,
Throw us under the bus. Cheers, mate.
to be fair, when we only ever played private schools in like tournaments or sevens tournaments. We played Brighton College once and absolutely hummed them, but that was the only one we've ever played. Like we tried to play Wellington, I think, a few times, but it just never came like. To be fair as well, like the season didn't really match up, did it? Because like when their season was sort of done.
Yeah, we're all first.
Your first term, like ours would go right through from like September till
ours would
March
go-
time. So and then we go and play sevens. So like we didn't have like the thing where you stop at first turn.
We used to, bit Judas, but we used to love it if we got knocked out of the cup, because then our Saturday fixtures only went through to the end of January. So then you get your Saturdays back. So we absolutely loved it. But most of our Saturdays were spent obviously at school. And then when we went in the cup run that year, we got to Twickenham. We were like training on Saturdays as well, and we didn't even have games. So they were so like determined on like.
You won, didn't you?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we won the bars. That was sweet, to be fair.
Yeah.
We just went on an absolute. I don't know. To be fair, we had Paul Grayson was doing that coaching our backs, which obviously helped a lot. And then we just gelled that year as forwards, like a pack. We lost to Arundel. Third round of the cup.
Really?
Both the Curry twins playing.
They were handy that year.
Mate,
they pretty tough,
and then Zach Beryl, who was their other scholar player, because obviously you only had 3 scholars to play, weren't you? Yeah, he was their centre. But they you know what, the Curry twins weren't, when we played them, they weren't that good. It was just their basics.
That is a bold statement.
So you never saw like
how's Trent One's going for you?
Yeah, but like you look at like Tom Curry now and you think like he's amazing at the breakdowns and stuff like that. Like, he was never making like no turnovers in that game. Just their basic handling was just like miles above everyone else.
Yeah.
And the reason they beat us, they set up 3 midfield mauls, and that's how they scored their 3 tries.
Big up John Oliver, mate. That picture.
Is that Sam Olver's dad?
Yeah, John was head coach. Certainly when I played them at Handel, they used to love like their pitch. It used to get boggy and
It's hanging. The bottom left hand side, we did our PE A-level practical on it, and it was like slap bang in the middle of the summer, and it, like, the bottom left corner was so sand that they filled it up with sand, because you could tell obviously it had been rained on a lot. It was all horrible.
Isn't like
But theirs is all surrounded. Oundles is all surrounded by. Apart from that one left side where the trees are, the rest of it's all surrounded by buildings, isn't there?
yeah, you got
And there's a stand down the other side, the half.
well, I mean, it's a shed, isn't it?
Yeah,
Really.
it's not.
I got mutilated by Tom Curry in front of that shed.
Yeah. We used to in Ace League. We used to play a school called Ivy Bridge, and
In that Exeter.
yeah, it was one of the Exeter colleges. And this thing was literally just a pitch. I imagine like Trent Pool was, but like slightly smaller, just covered by a whole metal fence and like a hill on one side. And you'd always play them like you would kick off at like 12, and all the kids would come out at lunch and just stand on the hill and abuse you for like 50 minutes, and then go back in and do their lessons. And that was Ace Rugby for you. Awful. Awful. Like pitches like were terrible. Like just gritty.
Head of rugby always used to schedule the kickoffs for all our cup games that were on a Wednesday, like half an hour before the end of the day. So it was like we always used to play like half the game with no one there, and then suddenly like the whole school's come back, and we're just like, why don't you just put it back half an hour to then?
Ours was the same, to be fair. Our Wednesdays.
Because ours is really open.
Our Wednesday kickoff was class. Used to be my favourite. Like we, at the pitch at Oakham is like right in dead centre of campus, so most people have to walk past it to get to lessons.
Wherever they're going,
And so like on our Wednesday afternoon, you normally have like a lesson, a 45-minute break, and then another lesson. And we'd play throughout the whole afternoon, and so you'd basically get them for 45 minutes, get everyone for 45 minutes, and then they'd obviously go back to lessons. And so it was just such a weird atmosphere going from like no one to like, because it's the centre, people just hung around, so you'd get 300, 400 people just standing there. They don't really know what's going on, they don't really care either, but they're just there for the atmosphere. Remember we turned over Leicester Grammar there, which is probably my favourite game, one of my favourite games, when I was in my GCSE year.
You playing up here?
Yeah.
To be fair, our pitch was like right in the middle of the campus as well. We had, which is ideal, like at lunchtime when everyone gets let out, everyone used to have their own, it's like year 7s and 8s would be like on the top bank. We had 3 banks, be on the top bank by the cricket pitch, and then it'd be nines would have the mugger, which is all the hockey bit, which was next to the rugby pitch, and then 10s and 11s used to have the bottom bit. And so obviously the rugby pitch is slap back in the middle, and then we used to have like Saints used to come down and train all the time. And then I remember when it was after the season, regular season in the Premier finished, and Saints had a playoff against Stade Francais to see who qualified for the European. Stade Francais came down and did their captain's run on the middle of our pitch, and like Paris was there. Who's their 10? Jules Plizon. He was, I think it was him at the time.
The blonde fella.
They were there running their out, which was sick. I've never seen, like, it was ideal just to see him. Oh, who's the prop? What's his name? Got like 100 caps for France.
There's a lot, mate.
Trin Rabiot? Is it him?
Probably. I don't know.
One of them.
Not a throw.
Digging was like, right, yeah, I know who he is straight away. It was like, oh, no. It was crease, but yeah, that was like sick to watch, just because of what we were like the only big school, like private school around who had like big enough pitch for the stuff to train and stuff like that. It was ideal seeing people out.
School rugby was class though, just because you're with your closest mates. Like that's basically what's so beautiful about school rugby.
Away trips were class. When we went on our Twickenham run, when we got to stay in hotels, it was absolutely hilarious. We got to stay we played our semi-final at Allianz, and we stayed in a hotel nearby. And I don't know how it happened, but I remember, you know, Jay Johnson.
Yeah.
He was here. Yeah, he was rooming with one of the younger years, and he was playing that for us. And they ordered like 30-40 quid worth of room service, like ice cream, all this. This is like all the night before the game, like brownies, shit like that. And the woman came up to deliver it, and she was like, "Oh yeah, so our till's broken and the car machine broken, so we can't actually charge it for you. So just have it on the house." He got like 40 quid worth of food. It was like we were going down the corridor. I was like, boys, come through. We've all got food. I remember that even so well because it was the night that England 20s were playing. Grayson was playing, so we obviously he went to NSB, so we watched that whilst eating all this shitty food like before we came. We rock up to Allianz. I remember winning that as well. We won. It was the most bizarre game ever, and they kicked, and we were drawing, and they kicked to win, missed, and we drew, and then they were like, "Oh, extra time," and we found out that because we scored the first try, we went through. And I was like, and I remember being in the Sarri. Have you ever been in the Sarri changing rooms? They're like, they're literally just like, porter cabins. And I remember I was in the shower, completely naked in the shower, and I got on this.
Shower naked?
Yeah, got on this office chair, you know, like one of the spinny office chairs. My mate Ralph pushed me into the chair. I was on the changing room. I was like, fucking hell, with one boy into the changing room. Paul Grayson had come in the door as he went, and he just looked at me like, turned around and walked out. I was just like, what is going on?
That's how you beat us, wasn't it?
Mate.
In the Ace finals.
Yeah, I remember.
We weren't allowed to play extra time when you beat us because you scored the first try.
They are the bleakest rules ever.
Yeah, I
like
remember
first
that.
try scorer.
I was captain.
I'd rather have it done on rock paper scissors.
Feed me to the Lions. We were singing that.
Yeah, we like
You were.
we scored like the last 3 tries, and then we just literally missed like a halfway dropout. Someone Connor Eastgate tried a halfway dropout, and literally just missed it. And then we were like all over him. We were like, "Oh, when we go extra time, we're gonna beat him here." And then he was like, "Nah, you're not allowed to." And he was like, "Yeah, you boys, they've won because they scored the first try." And we're like, I hated them rules. It was so annoying.
Mate, bring back. I'd have a kick shootout, 100%. I think that's like literally his fairest way. Like
Drop kick backheater or something. I'd rather do some competition like that.
like first try scorer.
Yeah.
Stinky.
That is bleak.
Yeah.
Right. Next topic.
Yeah.
You gonna introduce the topic
No,
or
mate,
just?
no, up to you, bro.
No,
you
you
got
got
to
to
introduce
start
the
with
topic.
moving on.
Huh?
You got to start with moving on.
Yeah, moving on.
Oh dear.
Are we moving on then?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought, aren't you just going to introduce the topic?
If you want me to
Your
just
podcast.
use
Just cut it. Just cut it. Just cut
So
it.
Mate, you introduce the topics, mate.
Okay, so moving on. Students in lockdown. Big discussions going around. A lot of people saying stuff on Instagram and things getting shared on people's stories about how we've been treated. what are your opinions on the matter? Rafs, what do you think, mate? How do you think we've been treated?
Yeah, I think
Well,
it's a difficult one, really. I think in terms of like which perspective, like obviously rent or like different ways of learning, like online and stuff. Yeah, it's more challenging for students now. But obviously, I don't think you can do anything about the rent. Like you can't really moan about it. Like contract to contract at the end of the day. And I know it is a shame that obviously students are getting charged like a lot of money to live in a house like which they're not even using or whatever. But yeah, it's an awkward one. And obviously it is hard, like students without like support and stuff. Are coming to uni, especially like freshers as well. Having to try and make new friends and etc. as well as balancing a new degree. But yeah.
I think university students, this is supposed to be the first week, first day back at university. Obviously, we've been living there anyway because we thought might have made the use of the rent. We've got a place anyway. But can you imagine all that time being at home? Like,
Yeah. I don't know. My opinion of it is, I feel sorry for people in terms of I feel sorry a lot for freshers because it's their first uni experience. Is this. And like this is completely the polar opposite to what it's normally like. And I mean they're lucky they'll get the last sort of 2 years of their experience being it kind of normal. I think with rent, in my opinion, like I think if you're living in like a uni owned accommodation, like you should get some money back. But if you're living in private rental accommodation, like it's just it is what it is.
Yeah,
it's
it is
your,
I know that
you're in a contract.
I know that Trent students got their second term accommodation refunded if you didn't go back. So like
that was just for like halls and stuff.
Yeah, just for halls, just for halls. But then you have to understand that fair enough, like second, third years, fourth years, like we're paying for this house. You have to understand also that like landlords and stuff like that, they're in the same kind of situation. Like as much as it's bleak on us, we're paying for rent that people houses that we're not staying in. Like people have got to make a living, and the landlords like.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just business. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like they're going to struggle as much as if they didn't have our rent paid for them, then they're going to be struggling. Do you know what I mean?
I don't agree with tuition fees being refunded as well. I think
it should be reduced, surely.
no, but they're also unis are also a company. They're not part of government education. They're not run by the Department of Education. They're technically private companies who run their own balance sheet, their own like cash flow. So they like if you as soon as you take away I don't know a year's worth of stuff, how do they pay lecturers? How do they run facilities? How do they maintain all these things that we get for free as students? That if you took all that money away, just wouldn't be there. So it's like I know it's shit. Like people do want their money back, but it's like if you look at it long term, if you take away like a whole year's worth of tuition fees, how does that affect it 3-4 years down the line?
I think you've got to think about what your student loan covers as well. Like the amount of people that actually pay back. The average person pays back only 30% of their loan. So whilst you are only paying effectively then $3,000 a year in that way. So you've then got to factor in universities have had to move online. And I know speaking to like one of my tutors in seminar last week was telling us how she has to have all this new software and all these new things that she has to have at her house just to be able to deliver a lecture. And that stuff ain't free. And so for them to sort of be able to still deliver at least something online, there's costs incurred in that. And I think people have got to understand that you're only effectively then paying $3,000 a year, plus you're getting all this extra stuff. Like they're having to provide a lot more that will have had costs like charged to it.
Do you not think like having a way of kind of making the best out of both of it, like rather than refunding tuition fees and stuff like that, like just on your student loan, like just have like some of it cut off? You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So so it's on there. Obviously, we have to repay it. What is it after you start earning over 21,000 or whatever it is, and you only pay it back? What is it? minimal percent, isn't it, over the space of 30 years, and then it gets rid of anyway. Do you not think that they could just take some of it off of that? They're like universities still getting paid, but then we're just not having to deal with the debt and the repercussion.
Then you just disadvantaging the government, aren't you, really long term.
I get what you're saying, but I don't think it's really comes down to like the funding of it and how much students.
I do understand.
It's the support I think students need the most. It's not
Yeah,
like-
because I've struggled this year. Like, I'm a very in-person, like practical. Like, I need to see things done, explained. Like, that's the best way that I learn. And then obviously all being online, like, it's brilliant. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy waking up 5 minutes before a lecture, not having to get up half an hour before to walk in to go to it. But then again, like, I struggle so much. And then also, like, when you factor it in, there's not really many places you actually can go and learn other than like libraries and like this. Newton, we've started to learn. Newton's been a blessing for me because I was going insane the first time, sat in there looking at the Tuesday and a Thursday, looking at the same 4 walls for like 7 hours on lectures. It just drives me insane. Do you know what I mean?
I think every situation, like, it's different for everyone though. Like, there's obviously some people that have been financially disaffected, like financially affected a lot worse than other people, and for them, there has to be some consideration. For the majority of people, it's going to be like business as usual. It's going to be tricky, but like, they'll survive. There's obviously some people that it won't be that easy, and that's where help has to be provided.
Especially for like people who can't afford the equipment that you need, like to go on to online lectures or stuff like that, or they care for someone, or they need extra support. Like, they're the people that I'd rather. They take some funding away from me because I'm technically not disadvantaged at all when it comes to online learning. Give it to someone else who actually needs it, because I would rather that be the case. Because
it's just been a bit of a shit situation. Like, a lot of my modules that would have had practical assessments, like presentations, like I've had turned into like reports and stuff. Where I know I would have done better in a presentation than what I would sitting and writing a 3,000 word report.
Yeah, I think that's just, like, I chose a module on the fact that it was an exam based, and now it's coursework, and I think that'd be the same for a lot of people. But you just
got to fucking do.
You just got to get on with it.
That's why I'm glad with things opening back up. Like, I've got sales modules that are coming in, which are both 2 practical like interviews, which I'm quite glad that things that. What's your opinion on things obviously opening back up, going back into lectures? Like, are any of you going back in, or?
I highly doubt it. For me. I think everything I'm going to do is online, and I think they kind of just accepted that it's going to be the case.
I think for the rest of this year, it'll be everyone's now used to being online. Well, they should be after.
What's the point now? Like, kind of that halfway through online now. So what's the point?
Do you reckon they'll keep it that way as well? Like,
I think there'll be an option to go back in.
Moving forward, like into next year. Like,
I think.
Do you reckon a lot of it will be delivered online more, or?
For me, I actually last year I didn't go to lectures anyway, because I used to pick up all my lectures online, just because it gave me flexibility to have a more flexible day, and I prioritised seminars because that's where I got a lot of my one-to-one learning. Whereas for a lecture, the person's presenting to 100 people. Does it matter if you're there or watching it on a screen? It shouldn't.
Yeah.
I'm probably taking better and more notes, considering I'm at home. If they say something and I just want to go over it again, I can just rewind it and I can go over it again in my head to satisfy myself. And then, whereas in person, the lecturer or whoever it is just going to move on, and then you're probably not getting as good notes anyway. Normally they say, if you haven't picked up anything, what's the lecture back?
Yeah, lecture capture.
So you might as well do it online in the first place. But I think seminars should definitely be face to face. Then you get one. You're in smaller groups. There's only like 10, 15 of you to a tutor, and then you're getting that support that you need. So I'd say, going forward, how I'd run it is I'd put all lectures online and all seminars in person.
I'm just excited because it probably means that stuff gets done quicker. You finished earlier, so you can go enjoy yourself more.
Yeah.
Like for me, I finish in end of May, so it's like. Whereas if I feel like I had exams, I wouldn't be done till June. So I'd rather just get it all done and go and enjoy myself. Yeah, that's one thing I'm keen for, just doing stuff in summer, because it's been so long since you can do absolutely anything.
I've got 3 hand-ins left, and then I've only got one module which runs through to the 1st of May, entrepreneurship, and that's me done now. The 9th of May, I think I finished.
Oh, it's good.
It's my last one. I finished,
literally.
Everything finishes in start of April, and I've got
Where
one
you
module
studying?
left. At the big college. Come on.
College knowledge. Yeah.
Actually, my application got. I've got to send in some stuff to back up my application now. Yeah, they asked for some further knowledge. Further knowledge, or
Further knowledge from
yeah,
the college.
that's further evidence to help support my
Yes,
application,
uni.
which is interesting. I actually need to. I had to find out my first year grades for all my modules.
Wow.
Sending a list of modules what I've done. I'm actually stressing going into third year. You know, I'm really stressing.
Yeah.
It's either definitely a split job, or see if I can get in second year and do second and third year.
I have to speak to Dave Ross, mate.
But it is. It's coming up quick. I think I'll speak to Rich as well.
Yeah, Rich will take.
Rich helps Scotty out a lot, so.
Yeah. I think. Just excited to be done. Can't wait to do
I
normal
miss
stuff.
you fellas. There's only, who said it? Jums. Jums said it to Peach last week. There's only 15 now Fridays left. But
Yeah.
And then,
That's a mad start.
Scary,
It's
isn't
actually mad.
it? Scary.
Just under 4
but
months.
I don't think it'll take much
What's-
convincing to get you fellas to come back for a few weekend visits next year.
Yeah.
Pop's going to be here anyway.
Yeah, obviously. I'll always
Weird
be
line.
I'll be here in the summer anyway. But well, who knows?
Yeah. We don't know. I'd rather be. I think I'll stay up here definitely.
That's a mad start.
Yeah, it's scary, isn't it? I think as well, like of this term, what is about 3 weeks left, 4 weeks left, 4 weeks.
Three.
My
First of April,
first of
first
April.
April
East,
finish.
Easter's the first week of April, isn't it?
Yeah.
Three and a bit.
3 and a bit weeks,
What, 3?
and then we're into final term.
Three. Yeah.
Where's the best time?
Yeah, which is the best term, but like it's
Yeah,
it just goes. The thing is, that's with uni. It
you
just
sit with
goes
six
like that.
mates. You can sit with 6 mates in the basket then as well.
Nah, the most disappointing thing is
14 Fridays left.
the fact that Eldoy is the 11th of June and everything opens up on the 21st.
Yeah.
You just postpone Eldoy by 2
Yeah.
days, don't you?
NTSU
I hope they do that.
postpone everything. Postpone everything until after the 21st of June.
Andy Ho, I'll be there on the 21st
Yeah,
of June.
Ocean.
Yeah.
Just
Ocean.
postpone everything.
And the collaborative marks with Uni of, yes please.
Pest.
Do you mean?
So
I just
pest.
want to cut some shapes about Yorkshire on the dance floor.
So pesty.
Yeah, literally just. No, I hope everything gets delayed until post that day because I just want to have a good time.
Huh?
Normally, again, not sat in a bar with 6 people.
It's mad.
Like it's just a bit.
You're here till September, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right?
You're here till September, technically.
Technically, yeah. But I'm not one of them.
How quick's it all gone though? Literally.
Only 40 more Fridays left of university.
To be fair, that like this whole since March to now, well, March to March, been blur. Like
Yeah.
what have you actually
lockdown
done?
started the year ago, that's mad.
What have we actually done? Apart from.
I did say to
one-
myself last year at the start of March, I'm going to bench 100 kilos and I have achieved that, so I'm happy.
That is disgusting.
That's almost as,
That's almost as rank
that's
as your
almost as
comment,
bad
yeah.
as Crocker said he'd rather be able to bench 120 kilos than chop a pint.
But that is by far the worst statement.
That is one of the worst things that's come out
We all
of
make
my
mistakes. I've said that before.
That's horrible.
But yeah, no, I just sad how quick it's all gone. Like 17 like yesterday, I was a fresher in halls,
Literally.
doesn't it? Literally,
Nah.
and then it's just gone like that. Just. Do you think how much more fun would we have had if this never had happened?
Yeah, but it's
Or-
still, honestly, it's still legit though.
We'd have won the cup.
We've literally got 2
We'd have
weeks.
won the cup and potentially got
Yeah.
promotion. There would have been 2 big nights out.
Yeah, and how many games you would have had, and everything. It's been.
And the last term, Eldoy,
Yeah,
the best one.
it's still gonna happen, mate. I'm determined. I'm absolutely
We'll have
determined.
our own.
We'll have our own. Yeah, we'll have
I
our
think,
own.
I think we'll wrap it up there,
Yeah.
fellas.
Wrap up
Decent
there.
little discussion.
Richard's chicken's done.
We actually had a few intellectual conversations about that.
Yeah.
Student
I think that's
life.
the most intellectual
So
conversation.
yeah, I think that's the most you'll probably
Um,
get out of me as well.
The most intellectual I hope to have on this podcast. 'Cause,
Yeah.
no,
From here, it's
it's-
not. It's
From here, it
not
only
so
can go
serious.
downhill.
Yeah, it
Really,
is.
I think.
That was a rather serious episode of the Not So Serious podcast.
Yeah.
I hope you will enjoy watching and listening and catch us on the next one.
So,
So, yeah.
Ta-ra.